Hello, everybody. I just wanted to say hello, first of all, and thank you for watching my video. I'm not going to do a lot of them because it seems like I'm inspired at times and other times I'm not so inspired. But today I'm inspired because I have been on a binge. I have been binge watching all of Tommy Lee Jones' movies. Now, probably there's some people out there who would say, girl, why? And I say, girl, why? I don't even know. I just know this. I always thought his acting was one note, always hyper-masculine, violent, brooding, that whole thing, right? And I was like, okay, so you see it once, who wants to see it again? And that's kind of how I felt. However, I have this one film of his I absolutely love. It's called Blue Sky. Jessica Lange, Tommy Lee Jones. I believe it was filmed in 97 or 98. Not sure. At any rate, I think, honestly, that was a time when he absolutely looked scrumptious to me. I mean, and prior to that, I didn't think he was handsome at all. I was like everybody else probably, and thinking that like Denzel and during that period, Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, those were the hunks of that time, right? So I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to see him in anything, actually. Men in Black. I loved him in Men in Black, the first Men in Black. And so here we are. We move into this. Now, I'm not sure. Men in Black, I think, came after Blue Sky. Get it right, girl. And I'm watching it on Blue Sky, that is, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, he's kind of like reined in all that in this movie because he's playing a nuclear engineer. He's in the Army. He's married, has 2 kids. Okay. Not often we see him with the family structure around him in a film, right? And he has a wife. Jessica Lange played out of this part. She was just so beautiful, sexy, scrumptious. She just played the heck out of it. Apparently a woman who has some mental issues and who has come from a family where there was considerable abuse, perhaps, and she's maybe bipolar. That's what I was thinking. Although they never mention in the movie that there's a diagnosis, I'm thinking that if she had one, that's what it would be. So, Tommy Lee Jones. There's a lot of ways that you expect a man to react to a woman cheating on him. Not just once, not just twice, but many times. So he's married to this vivacious, sexy woman who's living in her body, living her truth, living large, and she goes too far quite often. Probably every base they've been on, she's had an affair. And it appears to be no way for him to control her. At times, I see the vulnerability in him, in the character. This is how he plays. Is a lot of vulnerability, not the usual, like I'm the control sheriff, I'm the person in control, and I'm spitting out orders to everybody, obey me, obey me, obey me. And she's just like, well, she's just doing her thing. Now, it's true that the mental illness is a lot of why she's doing what she does. She's acting out sexually, but they don't get her any help. As far as I could tell from the movie, they never talk about like, oh, let's get you a diagnosis, let's get you into a doctor. It's just like, oh, boing. She's just going to keep on this trajectory. And sure enough, they're assigned to a new place in Alabama, because each new place is a fresh start. You know, honey, you can start over. You could try it again. Let's keep trying to get it right. But no. She goes to Alabama. The first thing she does is she throws an entire fit over housing because she sees herself as a Southern belle. She's delusional. She's a Southern belle. In almost every frame, she has a piece of scarf or cloth that she toys with, and she's just such a hothouse flower and all this. And why not? She's beautiful doing it. He loves her. And why not? The harmful part is when someone resides in madness, don't ever expect them to understand that your feelings are getting hurt because of their behavior. And that's the way he played this character is, on the one hand, he knew her very well. On the other hand, he still tended to hope that she would one day respect him. She didn't respect him. She loved him, I think. I'm not sure how much, but she certainly didn't respect his feelings, nor did she respect the feelings of her children or anybody for that matter. She was a very selfish, self-indulged woman, and she knew she was eye candy. She knew that, men like to look at her. She knew that she lived, her fuel came from admiration, and she got plenty of it because she was beautiful. He couldn't compete with that, and you saw that resignation. Tommy Lee Jones brought it. You saw the resignation on his face, like she was a nuclear weapon, right? She was like hot. She was like, if she goes off, destruction. She's a mushroom cloud. And he was no better at controlling her than he was at controlling the nuclear weapons he was testing. And I think that correlation was powerful in this movie, that she was dangerous and volatile, and he's dealing with dangerous and volatile powers and energies. And somehow, this one kept exploding. He was trying to keep this one from causing harm. Well, he also had a very tender heart. I saw that in his character. And this is what impressed me about how he played it. He could have played him like someone who was like really resenting her, someone who really, was letting some of that seep out, like, you're cheating on me, you're always cheating on me. And, but I just thought it was remarkable how forgiving he allowed the character to be, so forgiving of her, and to show tenderness to her, and to, talk her down from her madness and delusions, to bring her home and put her in bed and climb in bed next to her and embrace her and cuddle her. And here's the thing, I also saw a correlation with the movie Love Story with Ally McGraw, if you remember, that when she was dying, her husband climbed in bed next to her. I believe Tommy Lee Jones was in Love Story. If you watch his movies, you'll see the same actors reappearing, some themes that get mixed in there, and I see them. It's like the oranges in The Godfather. It's like, why is it almost every frame there's oranges, right? What do they symbolize? Well, Francis Ford Coppola said, nothing really. They just photographed beautifully, you see? But I think the universe says oranges do symbolize something. It's up to us to figure it out. Maybe oranges symbol. You know what? Sorry. You know what oranges symbolize to me? Family. Christmas, we'd always have bowls of fruit, and the oranges, the smell of oranges would be all throughout the house because everybody would be digging and peeling oranges. And it was just, Christmas and orange smell are the same for me. And the bright orange just lights up the room. The oranges, the smell of the orange. And so for me, in The Godfather, oranges symbolize family, gatherings, happiness. That no matter what, the theme throughout The Godfather was family, right? The theme throughout The Godfather was family. And oranges were in almost every frame. So that's what I get. But going back to Tommy Lee Jones and Blue Sky, his tenderness for her was so well acted. But interestingly enough, also his passion. You didn't get, the movies that he's in, I thought, and I went and binge watched many others, I thought, oh, he's just like so gruff. I couldn't even imagine being in a scene with him, like hugging, kissing. He's just so gruff, right? But in this movie, oh my God, he had passion. There was passion, tenderness. Did he go and take some lessons? Oh my God. The scene where she's been at the dance and she's like slow grinding and bumping to It's Only Make Believe. Oh, honey, that's a hot scene. Yes, indeedy. And he takes her. He lets her finish because he said, I enjoy watching men enjoy looking at you. Which is another reason why he does very little to control her behavior. But he does get upset if she cheats. It's like, you can go this far, babe. Don't go this far. But how do you control an atomic bomb? You can't. Once it goes off, it's gone. It's gone. So he throws her in the pool, symbolic of cool off. Chickadee, cool off. They get home and they're fighting. You could tell, everybody's been there. You can tell that they have argued all the way home. I've been there. They climb out of the car and it's like, well, yeah. This is going off and the kids are like, oh my God, once again. The scene in the bedroom where she has already partially taken off the wet dress and she's standing in the corner. It's the same look she has in the dress shop. Like, what are you going to do? I can see her morphing in and out of going back in time, like to a time when maybe some abuser backed her into a corner. Jessica Lange just played the heck out of this. Her face changed into this face of innocence and vulnerability that was just said volumes. And she's looking at him like, what are you going to do? And it makes you wonder if there has been physical abuse from him in the relationship because of the way she acts when he comes to get her. And I was like, oh, I even felt it. I was like, oh, he's going to do something here, But something, it changes. It's like passion. I say, all this arguing is their foreplay. They both get hot fighting, And suddenly it shifts and she becomes this vixen, she shifts just like that. And he's not missing a beat of it because he's seen it before. He's seen it with her all this time. Tommy Lee Jones, passion. When she jumped on him and wrapped her legs around him, oh my God, I was like, oh Lord Jesus. Yeah, right? He played the heck out of that. Sometimes it's not the screaming and the emoting and the fighting that to me creates the need to be awarded an Oscar. Sometimes it's those little tiny little things that will flash across a face. When I saw the amount of passion, that shift that was so subtle from her being afraid of him, like, are you going to hit me? Which leaves us questioning, is this also part of the dance where she acts up, he gets aggressive, they make love? Now, we know that exists in relationships. We know it does. We know. And they showed us it, right? And then they walk over to the bed. He carries her over to the bed, and boom, he throws her on the bed. Now, I'm thinking, damn, Tommy, that's kind of rough. My brother, he was like, bam, she actually got air, right? She, like that, up off the bed. But she was a tough chick, and she was just like, yeah, daddy, yeah, come on, bring it, right? And he did. I'm telling you, the passion in those scenes was well done. Well done, Tommy Lee Jones. When a man can play the same character over and over again, who has no connection to women, is not particularly sexy, and then he brings it in Blue Sky in a way that he hasn't before, and which is like, it makes it a chick flick kind of, you know. It's like, I got something out of that, right? Then his scenes with other men are not that great. It felt awkward at times when he was with other men in scenes, when he was not the superior officer. Get what I'm saying? I often felt like that was hard for him to do, that to play an inferior to another man. Powers Booth, I love no matter what, and God bless him, you know, he's left us, but he's another one I just love. In Tombstone, he was as Curly Bill. I just loved him. He was able just to dig into that sort of mystery of the Western male, the cowboy, he brought it in a raunchy, raw, ruckus kind of way, you know, that I liked. I liked. Now, when Tommy was allowed to explode and to hit him, and he was like, it's not about my wife. You know, he said, can I talk to you? And he goes, well, if it's about your wife, he goes, it's not about my wife. It's about the work. I was like, oh my God. I didn't want it to be about the work. I really wanted them to have a kind of a brawl where he punch him. Well, he did punch him. So, and then she gets knocked through the glass, which I'm like, okay, enough of her. There was a point in the movie when I was tired of her drama, and I wanted to see Tommy emoting more, because I love it when he has passion. I don't think, maybe he never really knew that he brings the passion beautifully, because it's kind of like he's constantly reining in this, like, you know, it's nice. It's nice. Because we know he could explode. And why have filmmakers always missed his ability to create one of the most sexiest, passionate love scenes on television, on the movies, whatever it may be? He could have surpassed the best that we so-called call the best on the big screen. I believe he had those chops, and I wish before he had aged out of these kind of things that he had done more of that. I heard about Sally Fields kind of like, you know, throwing him under the bus about his kissing, which was disappointing to hear. But that's okay. People can, you know, you can learn to kiss. Apparently he learned something. I don't know. But, okay, so then, Blue Sky, yes, ma'am, over. I will watch it over and over and over and over. Yes, yes, yes. Right? Hope Springs. Sorry. It's a sweet little, cute little movie. Meryl Streep, I love Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep, never go away. Never go away. Angels in America, oh my God. the hours, all of it, all of it. If she's in something, I'm watching it. I am bowing at her Oscars feet. That's what I'm doing. But Hope Springs, my problem with Hope Springs was the sex scenes. Oh, God. I couldn't watch them. I cringed. I absolutely cringed. The talk about sex and with the therapist, I cringed. Maybe because it was too close to home. Not because I've been in that kind of marriage, no. Not because I'm elderly, no. But because we all have places in our life where we've given up, and where the ability to be candid about what's really going on is very hard. It's very hard. And I was just like, ooh, God, oh my God, fantasies? Oh, Lord. If somebody had asked me about my fantasies, I would have said just like her, I don't even know what my fantasies are. And then it was like, well, it turns out her fantasy was giving him a BJ in a dark movie theater. Now, because it was it was a script, who thought a dark movie theater was a good place to shoot this? I could not. I don't know what made me uncomfortable about it. I think because she was bringing it. Meryl Streep ain't playing with you now. She was bringing it. She made me uncomfortable. She was bringing it so good. But when she got down on that, you know how a floor in a theater feels. You know, popcorn, soda, spill, God knows whatever else. Getting down on your knees on a theater floor? Girl, please. If I were the director, that scene would have been shot in a car. Shot in a car. And she would have just slid over that seat and said, oh, I have a little surprise for you. Right? And then we would have been able, through the windshield, to see her face, his face, the movement, the head going down, his reaction, which I totally missed in the movie. His reaction to her clumsy procedure would have been the greatest thing on film if it had been done right, and it was not. So all I saw was popcorn, Tommy Lee Jones grimacing, and then trying to apologize, and I'm like, holy shit, was that not the most awkward thing I've ever seen in my life on film? Anyway, next, number 2. When they finally do get around to doing it, because it's all been kind of like just up and down, 15 years, no sex, no touching. He finally becomes the man of the house again, and he goes into her room, and he climbs in bed, and they kiss. The very beginning where they're kissing, and you can hear the little love, like, it's very nice. But what gets awkward are the pajamas. Yeah, take off the pajamas. It bothered me that he's wearing a full set of old dude striped pajamas. Bothered me. And I'm thinking he's stepping through the hole in the. Who does that? Who does that? You can't step through a hole in pajamas. Then, well, that bothered me. Then I see her leg, and I'm thinking, It was hard telling parts. I know this is graphic, but this bothered me so much. You saw her leg like kind of flip down, come on. Her leg, what's going on. Her leg flips down. I'm like, Merle, you're getting it in, girl. I know you're trying. You're trying to help him. And his hand comes down and pulls her leg up. I don't know. I think had they had their clothes off, with cellulite showing, with fat and flab and whatever showing, there is a way that filming of that could have been sculpted in such a way to give people courage, to give people hope, to say, I don't care what age you are. You could be 20 and have a lot of fat. You can be 20 and have had a surgery that left you scarred. I get emotional because I've lost a lot of weight, and I know that when I was heavier, I did not want anybody to see me naked. I still wouldn't have stepped through a hole in some pajamas. But anyway, filming that another way would have given hope. It's like, there it is, 15 years. I probably would have been crying and laughing and coming and I would have been doing if he was doing it right. But see, that's the whole thing. You couldn't tell. You couldn't tell they were doing it right. Right? There should have been like some something, or him to let us know for sure. Bingo. All of the work you've done with the counselor and therapist, the reading, the touching has led up to this zenith, this moment where it's like you've broken down that wall of stubbornness. That is stubbornness, like I don't want to, I'm not coming in there. You have to come to me and you have to do it, The stubbornness is gone, and he comes in and he's like, what have I been doing? I love you. I want your brains out. They should have put that in the movie. They should have just had him turn into a thought. It's like, fuck them pajamas. He should have just had on pajama pants, and he should have came in there and it's like, bitch, I won't fuck your brains out tonight. And she probably would have just melted in there. Right? But they use too much of the doddering old man trope, right? Who wants to see Tommy Lee Jones as a doddering old man? Not me. I had just discovered him as a sexual entity, a man capable of great passion and so forth. And now he's a doddering old man. Get the out of here. No. One of the best scenes in the movie was when he was leaving after that night, and they rekindled something, and he's leaving to go to work, and he walks and he comes back and he grabs her and Hunty, he lays it on her. Yes, that was well done. Rapidly moving to the scene in Homesman. One of my favorite movies. Yes. So darn well done. Well directed. Well acted. Well cast. Well scripted. It's everything. The scene that bothered me, and when I say bothered me, I'm saying also it got to me in some way, was when Cuddy takes off all her clothes and she walks over to him and says, she's just standing there, and he looks up and he goes, no. I was like, how did he know what she wanted? Maybe she needed him to scratch her back. I don't know. But my God, where does a woman have to be in her life to be so broken down and rejected that she'd go after somebody like this man to be unburdened with virginity. Sir, would you spare me my dignity? When she said that, I was like, Cuddy, sis, oh my God, don't do it. And what does he do? Now, Tommy Lee Jones is both directing and acting. And I have to imagine that every word that was uttered in this movie was approved to get you to another place, to progress you through the happening. And at this point, he is lying, he's on top of her and he says, now remember, you asked me. I didn't ask you. I was like, dude, why you got to do that to the woman? She said, spare me the dignity. But maybe what Tommy Lee Jones is doing is saying, this guy's a lout. Don't expect him not to be a lout just because this woman has now, become so extremely overwrought with her singleness and her aloneness. Cuddy does everything for everybody. She doesn't know how to stop. What she's lost is her own femininity. She has lost touch with the feminine divine. She doesn't know what it means to be a woman anymore, and she's desperately trying to get a man to help her along that way. What she doesn't understand is you don't need a man to teach you how to be a woman. If you're heterosexual, you may want a man to help you have sex, but I think her deeper need was to re-identify as feminine and to find ways of allowing herself to bend a little bit. She's quite rigid, so that she could allow those things in her life that, a little makeup, put a ribbon in her hair, plain as an old tin pail. You're bossy. I don't think she intended to be bossy. I think she understood that to live there, she had to be quick of tongue, cut corner, not, being direct and to the point and not being, misunderstood or whatever it is. And so he's on top of her and he's like, oh, well, you asked me to do it. Remember that. Like, remember that. She's already decided to die. He didn't get that because he doesn't care. She comes and she's ready to die. She says, I'm crucified. I'm laying under you crucified. I'm giving it all up. I've walked naked in front of these crazy women. Now I'm underneath a lout. I've given it all up. I have nothing in reserve. And she's just saying, just give me this 1 minute of dignity. And he says, no, I won't. Remember, you asked me, I didn't ask you. Then he says, I don't want to hurt you. If I hurt you, I'm sorry. And I'm like, dude, you're not packing like that. I'm sure of it. But what's hurting her is not your penis, it's your mouth. It's your attitude. It's all, he's just loud pig from beginning to end. Take me and put me in you. I was like, what part of this ain't you do? Are you doing anything here? He's torturing her. You mean so little to me, I can't even you. That's so cold-hearted. I know it was the script. I know it was the movie. I only realized later that she had already planned to kill herself. The first time I saw the movie and she killed herself, do you know, I talked to people about it for weeks because I cried. I was like, it just shook me. I was like, was it that bad, Cuddy? She couldn't find a way out. She couldn't find a way out. She's like, look, I've given everything. I constantly give. People needed to have been taking care of her. So it was a very hard movie to watch. Well done. The resort living movie. God, it was a cute movie. It was cute. You don't go to these things, like you don't go on a cruise and just like see one woman and decide that's the woman for me. No, doesn't happen. Men go places and they're looking at everybody and they're like sizing it up. I was not convinced about the black woman in this movie. Hunties. How would a man ignore that sizzling, beautiful sister with them curves and that voice? And how would they opt for Rene Russo over her? See, it's just not logical. Sometimes in movies, unless it's a fantasy, a full-out fantasy, sci-fi, you want reality. You want something close to like how you think, right? It's like if I saw, and I can't think of the actress's name, forgive me. If I saw Rene Russo and I saw the black actresses in this movie, I'd be like, listen, that booty, them titties, that face, that self-assured, hunties. I would have been after her in a heartbeat if I was a man. This is no doubt about it, no doubt. So I didn't believe that. I didn't believe it. And sadly, he looked a little ill, or something was wrong in this movie. He was stiff. And I believe that Tommy did a lot of his own stunts in movies. An athletic man, a man with a beautiful body. Oh my God, when I watched Space Cowboys, I was like, especially the towel scene in Space Cowboys, honey. When she walks in there and she accidentally, I don't know what she sees, who knows. She accidentally sees him, I'm guessing she saw him naked, and that he put the towel on after she was like, oh. And she goes, oh, I brought you these things about the stimulator. And I was like, well done, scene well done. He did his part really well by like this. He was greatly amused, but holding it in, not, he poked her a little bit with the humor. He got it that she was like liking it, but not being able to say she was liking it. You know what I'm saying? It was like, Sarah, listen, I would pay money to have Tommy Lee Jones talk to me like that. I would. I swear to God, I would. Oh my God. Make sure. He said, Sarah, I'm going to take you out for a beer. I'm like, now that's the best Tommy Lee Jones flirting I've ever heard. Okay, he did that. I don't know who he was referencing, what he had seen in his life, but that just, to me, was just beautifully done. And she spun around and she goes, I'll be needing one. And I'm like, what did you see, sis? What did you see? The other scene that touched me in this movie greatly was they're sitting on the back of the car and they're just talking, and he's talking about reminiscing about some overturning a shit house or outhouse or something, and the woman he really had a crush on was in it, and I think they had already kissed, and he got reflective. He sort of withdrew and he said, I married her. And I was like, oh, well done. Just because you're still alive and you're still a man and you still want what men want, but you are not forgetting the love of your life. And she flipped across. You could see it flit across him, you know, and well done. Well done. I just think overall, out of all the actors in this movie, Tommy brought it. He outacted everybody. And this was comedic, bromancing, all this stuff. He brought it. And I'm just in love with that. It's hard to see him age. I caught on too late to his good acting and stuff. And so now he's like in his 70s, I believe. Early 70s. And maybe not so well. You know, I don't know anything about his health or personal life, but I'm a trained nurse, so I can make observations, and he looks like he's sick. Looks like he's lost a lot of weight. He looks good when he has some weight on him. And I tell you, in Double Jeopardy, I was like, if I could put him in Amber, that would be the Tommy Lee Jones I'd take home, is the one that was in Double Jeopardy. The Steve McQueen haircut thing, and the also a tenderness that was revealed in him. It was like, what I saw was like, I'm gruff, but I'm really tender, which might be the real Tommy Lee Jones. I don't know. Possible. But anyway, all this to say, I have enjoyed my binge watching of his movies. I have enjoyed getting to know his acting better. And not to be dismissive of it, but to enjoy it and to learn and to explore more. And I'm happy. I've had a very happy month. I'm also more broke because I was paying for a lot of these on Amazon and all that. But my God, stay with us. Be healthy, Tommy. Stay with us. Do more. Do more. We need to have a black leading lady. I'm thinking Angela Bassest. The two of you together, fire, fire. Yes, yes. Can you handle that? Do it though, do it. Trust me, it will be beautiful. Take care.